Is Shin Megami Tensei V the best JRPG for Nintendo Switch? That's the question I'll be answering in this video. To begin, let's start with the story. SMT5 starts off like any good slice of life anime. You have the typical high school student living in Tokyo, you got your goofy friend, your smart cocky friend with glasses, the cute shy girl, the childhood friend type, and much more. Now, as you walk around and talk to people at your school, you'll start hearing about rumors and disappearances of people and demons showing up. Now, there's no way that can be true though, right? Well, weird things start happening around town as you try to go home. Eventually, you'll find yourself wandering into an abandoned tunnel, and who thought that was a good idea? And there's kind of like an earthquake that happens, and when you come out on the other side, Tokyo is there, but it's very different. It's all post-apocalypse-y. You'll quickly learn about a battle between demons and angels waging on, and there's just weird creatures all over the place.
Nice.
Oh, and also you turn into this blue anime boy right here called a Nahabino. I won't say more because I don't want to spoil the game, as it's best experience for yourself. I will, however, say that I love the mystery of trying to figure out what's going on. This angels versus demons war was also really intriguing. I just wish there was more of it. You can go anywhere from 5 to 10 hours in between meaningful story moments, and that's just kind of a bummer. Also, don't let anyone fool you into thinking this is anything like Persona, because it really isn't. Shin Megami Tensei V is a gameplay first game, and thankfully the gameplay itself is really great. Like past entries, SMT5 is a dungeon crawler. This time it's just much more open world. And I use air quotes because it still has boundaries, but it's so much more open than in past games compared to the linear hallways. As someone that really didn't enjoy the gameplay of SMT3, I really enjoy playing SMT5. The exploration is just so much more fun, and there's tons of things to find. You can go to vending machines that drop items that you can sell for money. There's glowing orbs that restore your HP, MP, and super meter. There are these little creatures called mimins, or mimins, I don't really know how to say it. And for every 5 you collect, you get a reward. There's also treasure chests and tons of other things. To say the least, you're super incentivized to explore in tons of fun ways. Oh, and also, you can jump. This adds a whole new dynamic to exploration that I loved. Now let's talk about the combat itself. It's similar to past SMT games in that it's a turn-based RPG where you have your protagonist as the main character, and you can have 3 other demons in your party at any given time for a total of 4. Now, if you or one of your demons crits the enemy or hits their weakness, you'll get an extra turn. But be careful, because if you miss, you actually lose a turn. The cool thing about this though is that the same goes for the enemy, so you really have to pay attention to enemy weaknesses and defenses. I will say that it's really hard to recover after you lost a party member. You have to take a turn reviving the demon and then swapping them out with another demon, and kind of cross your fingers that the one that you're trying to switch out doesn't die in the process. Now, to gain more demons, you'll have to recruit them. This mainly happens through talking to demons and convincing them to join your team. Most of the time it's pretty straightforward, but sometimes there can be some pretty funny interactions like this one. Some demons are earned through side quests though, but these are much more rare, so don't count on too many from side quests. The key to surviving this world though is having the right loadout. Demons with the correct elemental attacks and defenses are key. This is also key to have on your main character because it's so easy to get wiped out. Thankfully, there's lots of freedom in the way you can outfit your main character and the demons at the World of Shadows. You can swap out your attacks for demons, and you can also swap out attacks and defenses for the protagonist. I'll admit that Shin Megami Tensei V can be brutally frustrating at times, but also manageable with the right loadout. Also, pro tip, ley lines are your best friends. They serve as fast travel points, save points, stores, and much more. Also, save as often as possible. If the protagonist dies, it's game over and there's no checkpoints or retrying battles. You start all the way back from your last save point. This drove me absolutely nuts. Easily my biggest complaint. I'd be sitting there enjoying the game, but then I'd die and have to go all the way back and do something over. It felt so annoying and defeating. It made me want to pull my game out of the Switch and just throw it out the window. As I get older, I really value my time, so I have little patience for games that waste it like this. If SMT5 just let you retry battles, it would be infinitely more enjoyable. As it stands, it's still fun, but also quite frustrating at times. Consider starting on easy to start the game and then adjust your difficulty as you play the game. Now, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, the Switch isn't exactly the most powerful machine out there. With that in mind, how does Shin Megami Tensei V look and run on it? It's fine. It doesn't look awful, but it's not going to blow you away either. I will say that it does have a fairly strong and distinct art style that looks great. For the most part, it runs at a solid 30 frames per second. I never really noticed any big dips, but it definitely doesn't pop up anywhere close to 60 frames per second either. There are definitely better looking games on the system and also worse looking games. So again, it's just fine. So let's finally answer this video's question: is Shin Megami Tensei V the best JRPG on Nintendo Switch? I would say no. It's great, probably a top 5 JRPG on the system, but other games like Dragon Quest XI and Octopath Traveler stand above it in my opinion. That said, if you enjoy exploring in games, great turn-based combat, and are willing to put up with a little bit of frustration here and there, SMT5 is definitely worth adding to your Switch library. Now, if you want to hear about other great JRPGs from 2021, check out this playlist right here. All my reviews from this year are right there, and there might be some games that you missed that are worth checking out. I also want to give a special shout out to Alex from Backlog Battle for sharing their footage with me. I was out of town the last 2 weeks and couldn't record any footage I was playing, so Alex, you're a huge lifesaver. Thank you. Make sure you check out their channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.